To inspire tomorrow's brightest minds, educators need today's best tools. Introducing Verizon Innovative Learning HQ, the next-gen online portal that helps educators inspire curiosity. Through free access to immersive educational experiences and standards-based lessons and training, educators can integrate the latest technology into the classroom and bring out the best in their students. It's all part of our commitment to help close the digital divide and leave no educator behind. Register today at verizon.com/learning.
At Giant Eagle, we've always loved our perks. Now we're excited to welcome you all to the future of loyalty with My Perks. There's no math, less rules, and more perks. 50 perks equals $1 off your total, and there are no limits. Plus, you earn perks even when you redeem, so you're always building rewards towards free gas and groceries. Guests who earn the most perks can now unlock My Perks Pro, and pros get even more pumped up savings. Visit gianteagle.com/myperks to switch today.
Hey, and welcome to the HA Podcast. I'm Danny Sheriff, the host of this podcast, the founder of the HA Society, and an HA recovery coach who has walked wherever you currently are. This is the place to come if you care about getting your period regularly. This podcast aims to educate, inform, and keep you motivated on your period and HA recovery track. I would love it if you could rate and review this podcast, 5 stars only, to help make this podcast easier for other women with HA to find it. And last thing, nothing from this show should be taken as medical advice. Please seek the advice of your physician. We are hosting an event that you are invited to. My co-HA coach Ashley and I are inviting you to a free 5-day workshop called Mental Hunger Mindset Mastery. What a name, I know, but it really sums up what the workshop does and is really well. A very common concern around HA recovery is, what if I can't hear my hunger cues? And there's a widespread fear of accidentally over or under eating for recovery because we don't understand our mental hunger or lack thereof hunger. And it's like mental hunger, what's that versus actual hunger? And I think this whole confusion around real hunger and the hunger that's just in my head and should I be eating this much and all of that jazz, it just really needs to be consolidated. We need to get on the same page with this. We need to feel better about it and get a plan of action. So we're going to turn it all on its head in this workshop. Over the 5 days, we're going to work with you to understand what mental hunger is and why we have it. We're going to teach you to partner with it both during and after recovery, just for life. And we're going to give you the tools and strategies that you need to listen to your hunger during the different stages and phases of both recovery and your whole life. The workshop will go over 5 days starting November 12th, and there'll be 3 live Zoom calls. Don't worry, there is a recording of every call if you miss one, and there'll be assignments for you to tackle on the days in between the live calls. So register for this free workshop now by heading to thehasociety.com/workshop or find the link in the show notes. That's the thehasociety.com/workshop. Can't wait to see you in the Mental Hunger Mindset Mastery Workshop. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the HA podcast. I'm excited to be bringing you guys a recovery story today. I know that they're pretty much everyone's favorite episodes, and we have a special guest. We have Kate Noel here. She's the host of Take the Cake podcast. Some of you guys might listen to it. If you don't, you hadn't heard of it before, it's probably going to be right up your alley. And I was on her show recently, September 15th, and I shared my story, and I thought it only be fitting to bring Kate over to share hers. So welcome.
Thank you. I loved our episode so much. I was so excited when you asked me to be on yours because I'm a big fan. Love this community.
Yes, it's a very amazing community. I know that you have your own story with HA and more, honestly. So would you tell us all, first of all, who you are, what you do? Because you have basically a platform in a similar space. So I want everyone to know that going in. Yeah, let us know.
Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, so I have a few eggs in a few baskets at this point. Well, I've always been like that. I guess I've always done that to myself. But I'm mainly a recovery, I guess, influencer. I don't like that word. Can we make a new word for that?
Recovery. But at the same time, like, don't you want to be influencing people to recover?
Exactly. Yeah. Like I'm never going to go out in public and be like, I'm an influencer. Like always have to preface what kind of influencer I am. But yeah, you're right. I should own it. But yeah, I'm like a recovery influencer. I also just launched my own coaching business, which I just call Kate Noel Wellness. And I'm in school right now, studying psychology of eating, and I'm also a certified eating disorder intuitive therapist. So I'm also a recovery coach. So I just am doing one-on-ones right now with clients, and I actually just launched last week. So it's brand new, and I've just been loving it so far. Like it just feels so good to connect one-on-one with people instead of just posting something and then like having it go to the masses, which is of course fun, but I know you can relate since you have HA societies. Like it's really fun connecting and like learning more about people individually. So that's been such a joy. Yeah, it's been amazing. And I also am a model based in Los Angeles. So I'm doing modeling still. And I'm sure we'll talk about that and my experience with that here on this episode a little bit. But yeah, I think that's basically everything I'm up to. Yeah, I have a podcast and an Instagram, and I have an old dusty YouTube.
Mhm. I mean, the good thing about YouTube is that it's basically evergreen. So
That's true.
mhm. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, people are going to want to know about how all of this came to be. So, will you take us to the beginning of your story and like what led you down a path of period loss and what led you down a path of regaining it?
Yes. Okay. So getting my period back was the catalyst to my healing journey, recovery experience, 100%. And I mean, actually, I want to say more like 75% because there were some other reasons why I wanted to recover, but that was my main goal. So if you really want me to go back in the very beginning, I I was always struggling with my hormones because I grew up a competitive gymnast and cheerleader, like travel cheer, like did it not just in school, but did it like full on sport. And I was so active as a kid, and I really didn't have any eating or body issues. I loved food growing up. Like I ate everything. I loved food. I was not picky with eating, and I had full body confidence, and loved everything. But I think I was just really active. And so I didn't get my period until I was later in my life. Like I remember being 12, 13, 14, 15, and still not having my period. All my friends were having it. My sister had it from an early age. My mom had it from an early age. So I was like very insecure about not having my cycle. And so I didn't think much of it though. I just kind of thought, oh, hope I get it someday. And then around age 14 is when I started my eating disorder, I guess, dieting consciousness that I went into. And so I didn't have my period before my eating disorder started. So I never really gave my body a chance to cycle. Like I never had my period. And so I did get my period finally when I was 16. I was like late 16. And I remember being like, thank goodness, because I thought there was something wrong. I thought I had primary amenorrhea or something. So I got it.
It sounds like you did.
I guess I did. Yeah. I mean, you're right.
That's exactly what you had, but caused by the same things that's caused by HA. And when you got it back around 16, did you take a vacation? Were you out on an injury?
No, I actually remember. So this is funny. I was 16. I didn't lie to my friends about not having my period, but I think I kept it a secret. Like, yeah, me too. Like, I guess that is a lie, but like, just whatever. And, I was going on a first date. I was about to go on a first date with my high school boyfriend to the movies, and my back was killing me all day. I was like, why does my back hurt? Like my lower back was killing me. And I was like, what is this? And it's funny now because I don't actually have back pain with my period. So I think it was just like early on in my life that I had that. And then I just had a little bit of bleeding, and I texted my mom from my friend's bathroom, and I was like, no, I was just living life. I mean, I guess maybe my body was just like, I just had barely enough to ovulate that 1 month or something. So yeah, I got it. And then I just developed a very severe eating disorder through the years. And I was actually ended up dating that guy that I went on that first date with. And so I really wanted to have my period, and like all my friends were on birth control. My sister was on birth control. So like I asked my mom if I could go on birth control because I heard that you could have your period every month. Of course, I didn't know the information I have now. That's not actually a period, it's a pill bleed, but I thought, okay, I just want to have it every month, so I'm going to do this. And um so anywho, I got on the pill and I was having my quote period, pill induced period, from some of my teens. I would go on and off of it, but teens into college, throughout that time, I never had a natural period. I only really had two before I got on the pill. Never really had a natural period, and just engaged in more severe eating disorder behaviors. So I was restricting. I was also binging and purging. I was using laxatives, which is a form of bulimia. I had, oh my gosh, like that's kind of what happens. And when you just like have it for so long, like obviously, yeah, you kind of adapt because you realize your goals, like eating disorder goals. Okay, I'm going to be this thin and be happy. And then like, once you get there, you're like, oh wait, this isn't working. I must have to change what I'm doing or make it more extreme. That's kind of what eating disorders do. They kind of lie to you in that way. So yeah, I just really did all the things. They all sucked. None of them worked. But yeah, I ended up, I think I had one natural period in college because I was working with like a naturopathic doctor to try and regulate my hormones. I didn't tell him that I was abusing laxatives, had an eating disorder, all the important information. And
he's like, oh, what a strange mystery you are.
And he had like, I did all like the tests for the hormone, whatever he did for me. It was like saliva testing, I think, for cortisol testing. And like, he was like, wow, your cortisol's through the roof. Like, you okay? You doing school? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Of course I wasn't. So definitely was very like in my mind, in the confines of my own mind with my eating disorder, very isolated, didn't tell anyone. And so ended up dropping out of college. So I got one natural period, but he had me taking progesterone cream. Like I was rubbing it all over my body. So I think that's really the only reason why I got it, was because I actually in college, I had more bulimia rather than anorexia. So I actually, with bulimia, with my specific bulimia experience, I was actually not really underweight. I just was binging and purging. So I think because of the fact that I did have sufficient enough body fat and I was slathering on the progesterone cream, somehow my body did it. But what didn't last long. So anyways, moved to California from Indiana. Dropped out of college. Yeah, that's like another story, but trying to run away from my problems, I guess you can say, and ended up here in LA when I was 20. I'm 26 now, and started modeling, got scouted, and that ended up really flipping my eating disorder around in a sense where I just started restricting and really started taking I like to call it taking my eating disorder more seriously, even though that's not a thing. But that's what I thought I was doing by restricting, because I thought, oh, I have this financial reason to have an eating disorder now. And it was kind of working. Like I was working a lot and I was actually pretty successful. Of course, I was very unhappy and very dizzy, very tired, not myself, not really ultimately feeling good. So then I got burnt out. I got married, actually, and one day, it just hit me. I think I was just driving and I was like, I need to get my period back. What am I doing? Like, I just have to, I need to get it. Yeah, it was so weird. I just felt like, I mean, I always had wanted it. I always wanted my period. And I never knew if I actually could like regularly cycle, because I had a friend in college who was my best friend in college, and she didn't have a period either. So we used to kind of bond about not having our periods. And like in college, it was kind of whatever, because I just thought, well, it's kind of nice. Like I don't have a period. Like I don't want to worry about, cycling. But I did always kind of want it. There was a part of me that I thought was missing. that, that life force energy. So anyways, I just thought, I'm married. I'm a married. What am I doing? What if I want to have kids? I do want to have kids. Like, not just that, but I just wanted out. I really wanted out. And so I thought I have to recover and get my period back. So that's when my recovery journey started. And I called it my HA recovery journey because didn't even want to like recover from an eating disorder. So I was like, I just have to get my period back. You know what I mean? That's that kind of
difference.
There is a difference. So long story long, I basically went to the OB, went to my doctor, and I was like, hey, I don't have a period and I'm wondering what I can do about this. He did like a pelvic ultrasound and I had cysts all over my ovaries. And at the time, because I wasn't ovulating, I had some symptoms of PCOS that I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to diagnose myself with PCOS because I had like a chin hair. I had like a couple nipple hairs. And of course, in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is totally PCOS because, it's like, I think that's what we do with eating disorders and just like diet culture is we like blame it on ourselves.
Would you say like PCOS, if you have an eating disorder, I'm just throwing this out there. I actually don't know the answer. I just thought of this question, but would you say that PCOS is sometimes or could be a more attractive diagnosis because the protocol for resolving it requires more restriction and exercise a lot of the time, or it doesn't require it, but a lot of people are told?
Absolutely. Yes, that was my, so it wasn't just the self-blame. It was like, I used to like go on all the PCOS blogs and listen to the PCOS podcast, and they're like, you need to restrict your carbs and make sure you're exercising. And I was like, hell yeah, that's what I'm already doing. I'll just keep doing it. So that was like a thing. And then I ended up feeling unsettled about that. I was like, okay, this isn't right. And so I just ended up looking on YouTube, looking on the internet about hypothalamic amenorrhea. And I'm like, I think this is really what I have. And I bought No Period Now What, which definitely shifted my perspective and just ended up going to Bali. I won this like yoga retreat. Like I literally went for free. I had to pay my plane ticket, but it was fine. It was like a free trip. And I was like, perfect timing. I'm going to go to Bali. And while I'm like, I had just quit my modeling agents because I was like, I'm gaining weight. I gained the most weight I've ever gained in my life in the shortest amount of time. So it was very intentional. I told Rio everything I could share with him, my husband. And I just was like, I got to recover. I got to get my period back. So in Bali, I think in Bali, I had been about 9 months into my journey, like recovering. Some of it was quasi recovery, but like 9 months in general, just trying to recover. And I got my period back in Bali. Like when I was there, and I was like, it was amazing. It was like a spiritual experience. It was so cool. And that day, like the day after I got it back, I remember the night before I had written, we were like doing some manifesting journaling as a group. And I had written down, I want to get my period back by December 2000. I guess it was 2018. And the next day I got it back. And I was so happy because everyone in the retreat that day, we were like going to a temple. And if you're on your period, you can't go to the temple. It's like against their religious beliefs and just beliefs in general. So I was so happy to stay back. I booked a massage. I was like, I'm on my freaking period. Like, I got to go get some tampons in Bali. Like, I'm like, I don't even know where to go. I had to like,
please, y'all have fun at the temple. I'm gonna stay here.
I'm gonna stay here. I was cramping. I called my mom crying. I was like, so happy, just all day long. So happy. I know that some of you listening can probably relate. And if you haven't gotten your period back yet, just wait, keep going. It's a great feeling. And I certainly had my doubts. There were many days where I was like, I'm not going to get it back. Like, I'm not going to get it back, Anyways, that was a lot, but that's basically my journey with HA. And ever since then, I've been, I did have like a post. I did have, when you get one period back and then you're like, okay, now I don't know about 2 or 3. I did have that. And that was a little tricky because I really had to be like, okay, now that I got my period back, I have to actually recover. Like, I can't just live in this stress state where I'm barely getting by for my whole life. And so I had to do a lot of changes in my life. And it wasn't until probably 6 months after I got my first period back that I really started to see the regular cycles and feel that good energy again, you know.
Hello, ladies, just chiming in to tell you about the HA Society resource store. If you've been looking for helpful tools that can help you get your period back kind of DIY without the price tag of one-on-one coaching or a super intense course, the resource store is the perfect place to start. Here you can try our recovery game planner to help you plan, execute, track, and fine-tune your HA recovery protocol, or download the audiobook version of our 7-day HA recovery commitment challenge so you can listen on the go. There's even fillable and printable HA journaling pages and our famous I got my period back mug, so you can get one as soon as you get your period back, and then you can drink from it every single month. So if you're ready to recover with the right resources and just get some cool stuff to help you through recovery, head to thehasociety.com/store to check it out. And remember that members of the HA Society get 50% off all items on the store. That's thehasociety.com/store.
Yeah. What I love about your story is that it highlights the fact that it's just not that linear. Like it's not that easy for the many of us to just be like, I'm going to recover now and do everything that our body needs us to do from day one. But you just like allowed yourself to basically try and make mistakes and try again and have epiphanies and be like, what am I doing? And sometimes that's just the path, because the person you were on the very first day of realizing, I think I have this HA thing and I think it's important, is just not the same person that comes out the other side. And you can't flip the switch and become that person overnight. You just have to go through all the things that you went through. And to give, not to give, but to be like a model, right? Your career and your finances are based on being smaller, I assume, or just like being this model ideal and probably getting praise for it. To put that away and say like, recovery is going to be my focus, it sounds like an extremely hard decision and a very brave thing to do that many other women would not be strong enough initially to do.
Thank you.
What was that? What was the journey to just making that decision like?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I had eating disorder for so long, like all my behaviors. And in my heart, I never wanted to do the binging and purging, to take the laxatives. Like none of that shit feels good. It all sucks. And like the guilt and the shame are just like, they're just terrible. It's a terrible feeling. So I think I can speak for most people with eating disorders and say, we don't really want that. We don't really want that for ourselves, like at the end of the day. And of course, it's so hard to get out of it. I like to say that like eating disorders suck, recovery doesn't suck. And there's a big difference in that. But like, yeah, eating disorders suck. Like they're not a good feeling. So I honestly think that just my body had gathered enough information for the past 10 years, you know, that I had my eating disorder, where it was like, okay, we need to rewire what's going on. Like, I just think my body just hit a wall. Like, I think I just couldn't do it anymore. You know, I was having really bad symptoms of life, like symptoms where I was struggling with panic attacks. I was struggling with dizziness and just like, I just felt like I was dying. Honestly, I kind of was. So I don't know. I think I just hit a wall. And it was like a personal thing. It was like a personal choice where I was like, what am I doing? I don't know.
Kind of like a rock bottom scenario.
Yeah, it was like rock bottom for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've heard this before from people, because this wasn't my experience, but I've heard it before where people are like, I just woke up ready. Like one day I was just ready. And It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, because I believe my philosophy with just like coaching and just with putting content out in the world is that I really believe that all of our problems, our food and body challenges, are here to teach us something, and they're here to like they're here to facilitate us showing up in our life in some way that we're not. So at the time I maybe didn't believe in it that much, but now I do in hindsight. But like, I don't know, I think I just I had all the information I needed to do something different. And I think I just exhausted myself trying all these different methods that society wanted me to do, or I told myself I needed to do, and they didn't actually work. So I think my intelligence took over, and I was like, what are you doing? You know, like, just somewhere in my mind, I just had one brain cell that told me to that told me to go the other way.
Would you say that the process though of trying all of these things that weren't going to work was an important part of getting to a point where you now knew what you needed to do?
Of course, I think, man, I like wish I wouldn't have had, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have had these issues, but I don't think I would. I don't think I'd be coaching today and doing this career that I love. I don't think I'd live in LA. I don't think I have an agent now. So I left my old agents that triggered me, and they still don't represent women or men or any people, folks in larger bodies, which I'm happy I'm not part of that agency anymore. But I left them. I'm with an agent now who supports me and loves me. So yeah, I don't think I would have had my life would be so different if I wouldn't have had it. Like, I can't even imagine what my life would be like. I'd probably live in like Chicago or something and probably be like a journalist, and then I'd probably not be happy.
Yeah, interesting. It sounds like you have been able to call in what you really want, like slowly hang on, that's not what I want. And now you're able to find an agent that gives you what you really want. And like that, a little bit of that touches every part of our life, like our relationships, our family life, our ability to eat, every day when we need to eat. Like, it's a very helpful journey because it is such a deep struggle, and it's so very personal, and it's so very challenging that once you do hit rock bottom, it allows you to hit rock bottom, which is so helpful for so many people, because then and only then can some of us actually get like the information that we need and the courage and strength we need to call in what we really want. Otherwise, yeah, we would just keep going down this path of like, society's telling me I should do XYZ, and so I'm going to pursue XYZ, and I'm never going to question it, and I'm just going to like be miserable and never question it, if any of that.
No, it does. It just makes me think of just like recovery wisdom is so powerful. And like, I know it's hard to imagine, like, if you're listening and you're like on this journey and you're really struggling, it's hard to be like, yes, I know that this is for a greater purpose, or like this is for a good reason. But I don't know, try and remember that the people who don't have this same experience, they're probably going to have another challenging life experience that you won't experience, right? Everyone has problems. But also you never know how much your HA has or is impacting your life in other ways that you might not even see. Like, yes, it will teach you to understand your body better, and it will teach you how to understand your fertility better, but it will also teach you, I think, more like invisible, not as tangible things throughout your life. Like, you can get your autonomy back over who you are, and like you can embody more, you can live inside of your own body instead of trying to live in someone else's body. There's just a lot of things I think that it teaches you.
Well, you start to realize that like the messaging you're getting is all very black and white, and like this is the right way, and you kind of start to go, life's more complex than that, and it's okay to go and make a version of my life that doesn't match this narrative that I always thought it needed to be. And yeah, you just become more complex of a person. I think a lot of people can relate to this when you have an eating disorder or just get really wrapped up in how you look or disordered eating behaviors. You become like, you're just taking away, that's taking away from a lot of your life, the complexity you are as a person, the like time and energy you could be applying to things that you truly actually love and want to do. Like, I just don't believe that the vast majority of people actually want to dedicate their life to looking a certain way. Like, I don't actually think that that could possibly bring anyone fulfillment. And I believe that disordered eating and chasing a certain aesthetic is stopping a lot of people from doing amazing things in the world. Like, there are people who probably could win a Nobel Prize or contribute to some kind of massive cause in the world, but they can't because their energy and time and focus is being taken up by disordered eating.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Holy shit. Yeah. I ask all my clients when I do like intake with them, what is something, an accomplishment in your life that you're very proud of? And everyone kind of has to really think about it. And I remember if I would have been asked that question, the first thing I would think is my body. In the past, when I was like sick or something about, you know, oh, I'm really proud of how healthy I am, or like how much, you know, how great of a Pilates person I am. Like, I don't know, just kind of like very surface level things. And it's like, I don't know, that's so true. I
really defining moment for me, actually. I have lots of little things, but I had a coach for my weightlifting, and we were doing a camp together, and we weren't training in, and we're having a conversation, and she was just like, so what else are you into? I had no answer. I had absolutely no answer. I was like, I just weightlift and like think about weightlifting and think about you know, the food I need to eat in order to pursue weightlifting. And I just, when she asked me that, I was floored.
Yeah, you're like, let me make something up real quick. That's what I would do. I'd be like, I don't know. I don't have anything. And then I would, yeah, that's a huge wake up call.
Yeah, I don't even remember what I said. I feel like I like dove into things I used to be interested in.
For sure. That's actually it's a great thing to do. Like if you're like, what am I going to think about besides my eating disorder or whatever, my diet or my exercise routine? It's like, there was a point in time in your life where you didn't think about any of that. So like, you can totally unlearn these behaviors. They're learned behaviors. So you can absolutely unlearn them.
Yeah. Yeah. Just go back to what you were doing before all of this happened and try some of that stuff and see. Yeah. So for me, it was drawing. And so I started drawing again and building things on the internet, like websites and blogs and stuff. I just used to do all of those things when I was a teenager before all of this happened, and it took away from that. So, and now here we are. I just like focused that energy on this kind of stuff. And I feel like you've kind of done a similar thing.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, I don't share everything online about what I do. Like, I took a ceramics class. Like, I really love swimming in the ocean. We do that at least once a week. Like, so, but yeah, you're right. I mean, I did harness this energy, and recovery is a fun time. It can be uncomfortable because I do encourage people to like try something new or try something old that they used to like gymnast. Like, I love tumbling still, and like I'll, you know, hit up Sky Zone and just like flip and stuff. Cool. Yeah.
Are you short? Because I imagine that you're tall. Then models are usually tall. So
I'm actually a shorter model. I'm 5'7". I don't think I'm short, but I'm
in centimeters.
Let me ask Siri real quick. Hold on. What is 5'7" in centimeters?
Because I've seen like modeling website applications, and they'll be like minimum height requirement 173 or something.
Why is my Siri so slow?
No, I'm gonna look it up for you. 5'7" in centimeters. Yeah, 170. Yeah, I think that like the minimum sometimes that they put in their website, it's like 173. So you're like
Yeah.
3 centimeters shorter than
Can't do it.
climate.
I know this thing in the modeling world though, everyone's always like, yeah, but Kate Moss was 5'4" or 5'5" or something. Like she was really short. But
It's usually
like
for runway, isn't it? Like
yeah, it's for runway. Like here in LA, it's fine. If I was in New York, I'd probably
photo shoots, they can make you look all kinds of
Oh, you have no idea. I have like modeling insight, but first of all, like shooting, clothing on like the psych wall, like the e-commerce stuff, when I was really thin, I would you have no idea how many clips are on the back of all of the clothes have clips, and they're also like on the floor, like with this crazy angle, and they take like tons of pictures. So they only pick the ones.
Was talking about this with a client yesterday. We were having like a one-on-one call, and we were talking about things that actually mess up our like what we believe to be the ideal woman. Mannequins, they do the same thing at the store. You see an outfit on a mannequin with this like just minority body that most people don't have, and you're like, oh, that top looks really nice, and you go to try it on and it doesn't look the same, and then you go and look at the mannequin and they use bulldog clips at the back to cinch it in at the waist and make it sit like that's not even how that outfit actually looks.
I know it's crazy. I know. And I actually didn't include this in my story, but I just quit fit modeling. I used to be a fit model. So I used to go in for designers and they would fit clothes on me. This is not the cheap clothes. These are like the nice designer clothes. And even for me, I felt like I was like fighting for my right to be there sometimes, because I would go to castings and I would be bigger than the specs that they sent out. Yeah, that's like the most triggering job ever. Like, don't recommend that one. Happy I quit. Surprised that I managed to have that as a career for so long. But yeah, like I feel like I was fighting for people who are, and I'm like privileged thin white woman. So I'm like, come on, like at least, just fit on somebody like me. That's not, it's so crazy. The differences too, like the differences in designers as far as like what they consider sample size. It's all over the place. Honestly, I hate shopping.
I do not shop. I do not shop, but I also don't like, I hate shopping online because the models look absolutely nothing like me. Like I cannot, there's been a few brands that I thought it's cool where they'll have different body type models wearing the same outfit. So you can maybe get some idea of how it might look on you. But for the most part, I don't look like that. So we're just going in blind.
Well, thank goodness that most brands now have like free returns, but it is still a hassle. It's like annoying.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the solution is for them. So it's fine, because even if I was a model and used my body to sell clothes, other people don't look like me either. So, I mean, the problem doesn't go away, but it's just like a thing about shopping. Can
someone figure that out for us?
I know, like do we somehow, one day maybe we'll be able to like upload with internet or like artificial intelligence, upload our body and it will like superimpose or render the clothes on us before.
I think that's a thing.
That will happen.
I think it's a thing. No, it's
well, this is awesome. Oh shit, really?
Yeah, I think it's a thing.
Oh, okay. Well,
but I don't know. I don't care. I don't look into it. I think I saw it on another influencer's like page. She was like, this is crazy. And then some people were like, actually, I really like that because I can like try the clothes on, but it didn't look right. Like, I don't think it would be very accurate,
Yeah,
Anyways.
Yeah. It's probably got a ways to go. It's probably time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. Will you please tell my listeners how they could work with you, where they could find you? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. I love talking to you. I want to have you back on. Like, I just feel like we could talk forever.
I was gonna ask, like, can we be friends?
Yeah. I didn't know that was a question that was still in decision. No, of course. I'm actually gonna be in Texas in February. So maybe I'll hit you up.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure where, but I might be close to you. I'm not sure. Anyways. Yeah. So my Instagram is Kate Noel __. And I know, right? Classic. There is a country R&B, or not R&B. There's a country like rap rock singer named Kate Noel. Very different people, very different. So that's not me. And KateNoelWellness.com is my website. So that's where you can like learn about my coaching services, and you can also contact me there and learn more. And then my podcast is Take the Cake. So yeah, my podcast with Danny's up and I love it so much.
Yay, awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Go check it out, especially if you connect or relate to Kate's story. Sounds like she'll be the one for you. So go, go and follow and inquire, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you so much for listening today, guys. Please subscribe to the podcast, and if you could head to iTunes specifically and leave a rating or review, that would help so much, because it makes it easier for other people with HA who are Googling around to find the podcast really easily. So if you do that, you're doing a service to all of the women.
Worried about mom or dad falling? The Symphony Medical Alert System from CVS Health helps make their home safer, even if you can't be there. Symphony works with voice activation or a care button they can opt to wear, along with smart sensors for coverage around the home. With 24/7 emergency response and an app to tie it all together, you can monitor your loved one's well-being for enhanced peace of mind. Terms and conditions apply. Learn more about Symphony at cvs.com/symphony or find it at your nearest CVS Health Hub.